¿Qué es lo primero que piensas cuando escuchas arte abstracto?
Pienso en Mondrian.
El arte abstracto me trae a la cabeza la idea de la libertad.
Pienso en pinturas, en esculturas, pero especialmente en pinturas de muchos colores.
Eso, cosa roja. Arte que no tiene una forma común, normal, interpretable.
Pues no sé, alguna defecio, algo feo.
Algo extraño.
Picasso.
¿Cómo definirías tú el arte abstracto?
Son cosas como relativamente simples que te salen ahí de la mente y dices como, están bonitas.
La expresión más pura de una idea.
Supongo que sería aquel arte que trata de representar o de hacer la comunicación de su concepto con la menor cantidad de elementos.
Como arte que las personas interpretan de diferente manera.
Y cosas como que no se entienden y que tienen un significado más profundo, pero son muy simples.
Es una representación artística diferente, totalmente.
Creo que es todo aquello que no tiene una forma en específico.
Es tan difícil de entender, como tan difícil es de definir.
¿Y a ti te gusta o no te gusta el arte abstracto?
A mí me parece una muy buena forma de expresión.
Sí.
Sí, sí me encanta.
Sí, es cool, algunas no, la verdad. Sí.
No mucho.
La verdad es que no,
Depende del artista.
As you can see, abstract art remains a hotly debated topic among the general public. There's really no consensus on whether it's good or bad or if it's really just bollocks, really. So, our assignment for today on our art class, which is the best class ever, was to look around campus for certain paintings and sculptures that would be on exhibition and analyze the whole curatorship, the exhibition, and come up with a conclusion as to whether abstract art is actually worth it or if it's just a bunch of crap. Someone making fun of all of us, right? So, well, let's get on with it. It's the assignment, the best assignment. On a more serious note, though, I do believe abstract art is often misjudged or misunderstood by people who don't even take the time to look into it. They just dismiss it. Right now I'm looking at this abstract sculpture, and even though I don't see any subject matter, I do believe there's a clear aesthetic value to the way the shapes intertwine and the light bounces off the different surfaces. I think we should all learn to appreciate that a little bit more. So, now I'm walking around campus and thinking about the different ways the abstract is actually present in our daily lives. We've got abstraction in decoration, in design, and even some things like religion or currency are completely abstract. But nevertheless, we face this great divide when thinking about abstraction in the arts. The general public really doesn't like it. Our next stop is Cosa Roja, seen here. And I think this is a pretty good time to talk about the origins of abstraction. Abstraction was actually born in Russia by the suprematists mainly. And I think Cosa Roja is a great example because it shares this geometric quality with suprematist Russian art while also sharing the intention of creating identity, right? Because Malevich and Rodchenko, they tried to create this sense of identity for the Russian people in much the same way that Cosa Roja is now as a symbol of identity for us here at Tec Cem. Right now I'm heading towards the sculpture section of the exhibition, and there's a couple of things I would like to show you there. It's really commendable to think about the way these Mexican sculptors actually took on the heritage of abstract sculpture as a whole. There's, even after so many years, the influence of artists like Vladimir Tatlin or Alexander Rodchenko is still really visible in these works. There's another really great detail about this particular section of the exhibition, and it's right here. This interaction that we see here, it's actually one of the funniest things. You're supposed to build figures out of many different three-dimensional shapes, and I do believe this kind of first-hand interaction with the public is what can make abstract art a little bit more accessible. So really, kudos for that. When we think about abstract art, we don't often think of the courage that the artists need to step away from the figurative world. A great example is this sculpture here. At the Gates of Heaven, it is called. And for the life of me, I can't understand why. But I don't really need to, right? That's part of the beauty in abstraction. There's a lot of valid interpretations, or even as Susan Sontag said, no interpretation at all. I actually prefer not to give an interpretation to this piece and just think about the way the light bounces off it and the way the soft curves make it really pleasing to the eye. The next stop here is the little painting section of the exhibition at the library. And here's a very important divide between geometric abstraction and organic or ludic abstraction. And I do commend the curators of the exhibition for creating such a clear divide between the two so that it's a lot more easy to understand for most of the people. As a brief side note, I didn't really like the way the works were displayed in many cases because oftentimes the lighting was pretty poor or it distorted the paintings or sculptures. Our last stop is actually Reilete, another of the most recognizable sculptures here on campus. And here I'd like to take a minute to talk about the exhibition as a whole, my closing thoughts, and also a little bit of artistic theory. Abstract art is a really complex subject, and there's been a lot of discussion and theorization about what we should do with this new art. Even between different abstract artists, there's a lot of different discourses, like Kandinsky's exploration of synesthesia and search for spirituality, or Malevich's search for a new cultural identity and a new language through abstraction, or Rothko's exploration of deep human emotions. Really, abstraction can become pretty much anything we want it to be. But what good is that if we can't understand it? I do think this exhibition makes a great job at making abstract art a lot more accessible for people who aren't really familiar with the concept. And I commend their use of interactive exhibits in order to make the concepts a lot more clear. All in all, I believe the exhibition is not the best in regards to curatorship, but the concept is pretty well executed overall.